In today's video, as we get ready to close out 2023, I want to talk about some of my audio favorites from a few different categories, and we'll talk about some stuff that either didn't fit into or didn't warrant a full video. I'll also show you one of my favorite audio moments of 2023, where I had a very special guest in the studio and things definitely didn't go as planned. It takes me about 50 to 60 hours or 5 to 6 full work days to produce one of my videos. That doesn't even include testing. That's just the production arc. So sadly, not everything that shows up here gets a full video. A lot of my audio content revolves around gaming, so there's one thing I almost never talk about on the channel, even though it's a huge part of my day-to-day life, and that's true wireless earbuds. I wear these to the gym, I wear them in the studio all day, I even sleep in them sometimes for the noise cancellation. Until a few months back, I rotated between 3 different sets of these because I couldn't find one that did what I needed it to do. That was the Sennheiser Momentum 3, the Apple AirPods Pro Gen 1, and the Sony XM4. The Sennheisers had the best sound quality and the best dynamics of the 3 by far, but they had the worst noise cancellation, and I had to reposition them in my ears all the time to keep a seal. It was a nightmare in the gym. The XM4s have foam tips. They stay put perfectly in the gym, and the noise cancellation is the best of the bunch, but the sound quality wasn't great. It was a night and day difference between them and the Sennheiser Momentums. The AirPods Pro Gen 1 didn't work great for the gym. They actually fell out of my ears all the time, although they were the most comfortable to sleep in for sure. They sounded all right, and I love the integration with the iPhone. Unfortunately, they had a defect where I had to replace these every 2 to 3 months because one or both of the drivers would sound like they were blown. Now, thanks to some new releases, I've managed to get this down to 2 sets, the Apple AirPods Pro Gen 2 and the Sony XM5. The AirPods Pro Gen 2 are a huge step forward in terms of sound quality, noise cancellation, and I've been on the same set since they've launched, and I've not had a single issue with these. I wear these a lot when I film in the studio. It's usually either these or the Audeze Maxwell, but I like these because if I get a text and my phone isn't close to me, it'll read that to me, especially if I'm waiting on something important. And when I sit down at the desk to review footage, I can just take these out of my ears, set them on the desk, and it pauses playback. It doesn't always work that way with the XM5. Sometimes it needs to go into its case to stop playback. In the Maxwell, I usually have to have my phone close to me. For sleeping and the gym, I use the Sony XM5s. They stepped up the sound quality big time on these, and these are a lot smaller than the XM4s. These are totally comfortable to sleep in. I could never do that in the XM4. These still stay put perfectly in the gym with no adjustments, and the noise cancellation is still the best of the bunch, even over the AirPods Pro Gen 2. If these had deeper compatibility with my iPhone, these would probably be the only pair I own. A couple things I don't like, and one thing to maybe look out for, these are glossy plastic. I don't like them as much as the matte plastic on the XM4. The case is a lot smaller and slimmer in the pocket, but it feels a little jankier than the XM4, like the lid doesn't feel quite as good. And the largest ear tips on these, for whatever reason, aren't as large as the large on the XM4. They don't fit my ears all the way, so I actually use the large tips from the XM4 on these. If you're in the Apple ecosystem, the AirPods Pro Gen 2 are honestly kind of a no-brainer, but if you run a lot or go to the gym, the Sony XM5s are great. If you're not on Apple products, I would just probably get the Sony XM5s and call it done. All right, this next one is my favorite closed-back headphone, possibly my favorite headphone of 2023. It's a weird one. I would have never even glanced at these, but my contact at Drop knows what I like, and they insisted that I take a look at these. The first thing I'll tell you, if you listen to bass-heavy genres, rap, EDM, these are absolute bass monsters, like rattle your eyeballs sub bass, like feel the music sub bass. This is the Signature X. It's a Drop collab with a company called Ultrasound. It's a German company, and I guess Germans must just love extreme tunings because these go hard as nails. Not just bass either. It's not bloated or fake or overpowering. Everything else is tuned to stand up to it. As somebody who came up in like warehouse parties and early raves, this is the most fun headphone I've heard probably since I started reviewing headphones. Why these didn't get a video is because they launched at $299. They're $199 now, but $299 was a really big ask for these because despite their sound, they're designed around a DJ headphone. I don't know if you've ever DJed before, but DJ headphones are designed to fold and swivel. These are all plastic. They flop all over the place. They creak, they rattle. The frame sucks, and they look insane on the head. They come with all kinds of stuff, including a really nice zippered hardshell case, 4 different cables for different use cases, including a balanced 4.4 Pinacon cable. You get 2 different sets of ear pads, including these thin little guys. But the ones you're really going to want to use are like these 1-inch deep absolute marshmallows here, and you can drive these with pretty much anything, including your phone. I just want to be totally clear that the frame here is horrible. That said, if you've got an extra $200 and you've been let down in the bass department before by other audiophile headphones, you know who you are. If you want to feel your music as well as hear it, these Get these. These are never, ever leaving my collection. If you're into audio and tech as much as I am, chances are you've got a long list of devices that need charging, and I'm a sucker for anything that helps keep my desk and my devices organized. This is the new 65-watt 7-in-1 USB-C charging station from Ugreen. This little cube form factor has 2 USB-C ports, 2 USB-A ports, and 3 AC outlets. It's powered by a GAN 2 chip and delivers 65 watts of high-speed power that can fully charge a 13-inch MacBook Air in less than an hour and a half. So not only can you charge virtually any device like your phone, tablet, AirPods, whatever, it also gives you a place to plug in a desk lamp or any audio device like your DAC amp. It's got this heavy-duty, really long power cord, so if you've ever found it a struggle to cable manage like your sit-stand desk and you needed AC outlets closer to like your displays or any other device on your desk, this can be a big help. For those times you find yourself away from your desk, their new RevoDock 5-in-1 USB-C hub adds some serious functionality over a single USB-C connection. With 95 watts of USB-C pass-through charging, you also add 2 USB-A 2.0 ports, 1 USB-A 3.0, and an HDMI port for up to 4K 30. Check out the Ugreen Black Friday deals for up to 50% off by clicking the link in the description, and big thanks to Ugreen for sponsoring today. One area that I really didn't dig into at all in 2023 is IEMs. There's so many coming out all the time. I feel like it's something you have to really be passionate about to stay on top of all the releases, and I just don't find that I use them a whole lot. The only ones I still use regularly are the Blessing 2 Dusk from Moondrop and Critical, mainly because the Blessing 3 Dusk hasn't come out yet. I use these for calls. They stay at my editing desk. I listen to music on them, and anytime I travel, they come with me. The only thing I've done to these is I did get the spring tips to replace the stock tips because these stay on the body a lot better. I don't think they isolate nearly as well, but it's a small price to pay for not having to retrieve a tip out of my ear canal. I just finally had to accept that I don't like having shit stuffed in my ear holes all the time. I never got into gaming with them really full time because of the comfort factor. I'm good for like 2 hours tops, and some of the ones out there with the bigger nozzles, I'm not even good for that. I only picked up 2 pairs in 2023, both of them budget. The Truth Ear Zero Reds, which Critical sent over, I think these go for $55, and the Kiwi Ears Cadenza, these are $35, I think, mainly because I wanted to know if there was something under $50 that could beat the original Zeros. Here's what I think you need to know. If you're on the fence between the Zero Blues or the Reds, get the Reds. They're both solid for music and gaming, especially given their price point, but the Blues have a tendency to get a little shouty for me in the highs. I don't get that from the Reds. I feel like these are tuned better. And they come with this little 10-ohm adapter, which you can plug in to boost the bass. I feel like this is too much for rock and indie stuff. It's right at home with rap and EDM. It's just great to be able to have that flexibility with one pair of IEMs. The major issue for most people with the Zeros in any flavor is that the nozzle's just really big. I don't have small ears, but if you do, these can be pretty intense. The Cadenza, on the other hand, is really small, really light, really comfortable. I don't think they punch as much in the bass department as the Reds do, even without that bass boost adapter, but they have a really impressive tone. They sound really natural. They sound way better than anything should for $35. I just think that the Zeros do a better job with the bass and they perform better technically for me. Really though, you can't go wrong with either, especially for the price point. They're both really solid for gaming too, but if you have small ears, get the Cadenza. All right, let's do a quick lightning round of my top picks for gaming for 2023 because I've talked about a lot of this stuff a lot before. I personally prefer wireless for gaming because we've finally seen enough jumps in performance and audio quality to where I don't see a tangible advantage in sticking with wired anymore. And you generally get a lot of gamer-centric features baked into your device, stuff like wireless in the first place, but then stuff like chat mix, sidetone, and EQ baked right in. For the flat-out best audio quality in a wireless gaming headset, it's the Audeze Maxwell. These are for PC and then whichever console you pick, and neither the Xbox version or the PlayStation version is compatible with the other console. The mic is pretty mid and there's no simultaneous Bluetooth mixing, and that's pretty much it for the bad stuff. They've continued to do a good job of updating the firmware and the software for this unit, and it sounds as good as any audiophile wireless headphone out there, not just for gaming, for everything. Audeze corrected all the mistakes they made on the previous Mobius and Penrose headsets if you were unfortunate enough to own one of those. This is built well, it's very comfortable, it doesn't have any functionality issues. I use this every day. The worst thing about this headset is that it's sold out everywhere all the time because it's so damn good. The Stealth Pro from Turtle Beach gets a strong runner-up nod because it is just exceptional with directional cues and imaging in FPS games. Its feature set is skewed a little more toward console versus PC, and it just lacks the overall sound quality of the Maxwell. You can check out this video if you want a super deep dive comparison between the Stealth Pro, the Maxwell, and the Arctis Nova Pro. Just know that eventually I settled on the Maxwell as my daily driver. I do still need to check out that Ace Zone Aspire too. Now, if you want to stay wireless, but you want to keep it under $200, I still recommend the Arctis Nova 7 from SteelSeries. This is compatible with both consoles. It's really light, it sounds really good, and it doesn't have the internal ANC nubs that you saw on the Arctis Nova Pro. This is $179.99, so it comes in cheaper than the $199 for the Razer Blackshark V2 Pro 2023. Even with its nice mic, I would still take the SteelSeries over that, as well as the Logitech G Pro X. I think this thing is $229, $249. I would still take this over that as well. Again, if you want to check out a deep dive, you can check out this video and its ridiculous thumbnail. And I've not heard the HyperX Cloud 3 wireless yet. I don't know how that got under my radar. It's only $129. I just ordered one. If you want to stick with wired and you need a mic on your headset, it's still the drop-in Epos PC38X. Make sure if you do this that you go with the black version, not the yellow. The black has less clamping force. It's way more comfortable, but the PC38X still a beast after all this time. If you have a different solution for your mic, you should go for the Sennheiser HD560S. This is an open back headphone. It's great for gaming. It's great for pretty much everything. It's a really versatile headphone. Super comfortable, doesn't need an amp, but sounds really good on one. You can usually score these for well under $200, and at that price, this is basically a one and done. Again, if you want a very detailed comparison, you should check out this video that I did on the Corsair Virtuoso Pro, where I compared against 5 of the most popular open back audiophile headphones for gaming. Runner-up shout out goes to the Beyerdynamic Tiger 300R. This is basically a custom gaming version of their DT880. This is an extremely comfortable headphone. Also sounds really good. I do think it's edged out by the HD560S. The major downside with this is it's tough to find it under $200 and it doesn't have a detachable cable. All right, story time. This is my favorite audio moment of 2023. Back in early August of this year, my guy Joe from Gadgetry Tech flew all the way across the US to come here to do an in-person collab in my studio. We were both really excited about it. Joe is a fast rising star in the YouTube audio world, and for good reason. He does incredibly detailed and accurate reviews complete with objective measurements. If you take nothing away from this video today, go follow Joe at Gadgetry Tech. I'll link him down in the description. Neither Joe nor myself had ever attempted anything this ambitious before. This was a multi-camera shoot involving 3 different cameras, an external audio recorder, and 2 different mics. And my studio space isn't exactly set up for a 2-person operation either. From a technical standpoint, the shoot was a complete disaster. The lighting was poor, the background was challenging, and I actually forgot to press record on the main mic, which I discovered 25 minutes into the shoot, so the audio is terrible, but lucky you, I captured that moment on camera. The good news is that Joe didn't fly all the way out here just to do this. He was also here to visit some family. But the bad news is we never got to release that collab because it was a mess. Not only was it a ton of fun, but there's this one moment where Joe pulls out this beautiful ZMF Caldera headphone. These start at $3,500. His is spec'd out at $4,000. This is on a Magni amp collab from Shit and Niche Audio. It's called the Piety. I'll let Joe explain the song choice here. I have to be really careful so I don't get a copyright strike.
We're doing the same connection. The song that got me hooked last year, what made me buy these, because this was not a review thing. This is one of those few headphones where I called Zach and like, look, I need my own. It was the Radiohead Identikit. It's the same song that brought my mom to tears, and yeah, it's a pretty awesome song.
I'm not going to cry.
Yeah.
I won't cry. All right. I got to stop this for just a second. This sounds like I'm sitting in like a 360-degree dome of sound. Like it's, yeah, it feels like you, yeah, this,
it's
wow.
Nuts. Yeah.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Oh! It's the magic.
Dude, that is a lot.
It's emotion.
There's so much going on. Mm-hmm. There's so much going on there at one time. Like it, wow.
Yeah.
He got me. I mean, it's an incredible headphone, and it's an experience I probably won't ever forget. It's one of those things that so clearly defines why people get into the hobby of audio in the first place and why people are so passionate about it. I really look forward to the day when Joe and I can link up and do a more technically sound collab, but it's one of those moments that we just always wanted to share with you guys in spite of its flaws, and I thought this was a great opportunity to do that. That's it for today. Thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one. Stay up.